Yeah, yeah, man, Marcus Visionary. Watch on, man. And you don't know the real general.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Marcus Visionary podcast. And today we have somebody that I've been meaning to talk to for a very long time. An extra super prolific producer out of Brooklyn, Brownsville, New York City, goes by the name of Krugah. And first things first, how you doing?
I'm good, fam. It's an honor to be here kicking it with you, for real.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So listen, we're going to take things right back to your childhood. So, because we want the full story, you know what I mean? The great thing about this podcast is I get to learn about you as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up over here in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Originally born in East Flatbush. According to my pops, I was there for 1 year, and then he had bought a building over here in Brownsville. At the time, this is 74, right? So at this time, buildings over here on auction was cheap, and my pops knew the scheme. So what it was, he bought an abandoned building. There was no roof, no ceilings, no nothing, right? He did it the old school way. Build it up from the basement, fixed it up so it'll be livable, so the city could give them the bread and everything, and built it from the floors all the way up.
Right.
So ended up over here in Brownsville, like approximately like a year later, and just grew up here ever since. Yeah, so been in Brownsville most of my life, and out of that time, I say I spent like a good 2 years in Mississauga.
Oh, word.
I spent 2 years in Mississauga with my aunt and my uncle.
And for those that don't know, Mississauga is in Canada. It's just, what would you say, west of Toronto, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, where are your people from? What's your background?
My background is strictly Jamaican.
Word. You know what? I knew that, but
I'm like the black sheep in the family that broke the whole pattern. Like everybody before me is born in Jamaica. I'm the one that's born in New York, and then everybody after me is a mix between Jamaica and therefore after. But I'm the one that broke that line right there.
Same with me. My brother and my sister are from Guyana, and I was born in Canada, in Toronto.
So
yeah. So with that being said, obviously family's Jamaican. Was there like a lot of music in your house when you were growing up?
Yeah, my pops love music. He's like an avid collector of like just different music or whatever have you. He used to have domino rent parties, pardon me, back in the days or whatnot. We used to have this table set up, everybody come play their dominoes in their cars.
Like a blues party.
Yeah, and what used to happen is he'll leave me in the back in a room with the sound system, and I used to just play records because he knew I had a fascination with his collection. So at the same time, it's like getting free entertainment. Not really free, because after the extra money he makes off of that, the very next day he'll take me out to Utica to go to Superpower at that time, Superpower or Music Masters at the time. Now it's Bobby's Department Store. It used to be a record store. It used to be Music Master, the Brooklyn base for those who know. Woody's Records, the red and white label, that used to be their headquarters over there back in the days.
Okay. And this is where a lot of the reggae and dancehall and Jamaican music used to come through.
Hells yeah. We used to do the whole strip right there back in the days from Utica, and everybody stops at Utica and Church and then goes straight up to Utica Eastern Parkway, but it actually sort of extends because Jal Life is like a couple of blocks down on Utica from Superpower.
Okay.
But yeah, there used to be a whole slew of record shops over there, and back in the days I used to payday come, I'm hitting the strip, hitting every little record shop, going up the line. Who don't got this? I'm going for that. Who don't got that? I'm hunting for this.
So how old were you when you first started collecting music, would you say?
It had to have been like about 14, 15. But my pop started me off early because, like I said, with those domino parties where he used to do, the very next day he'll go out and he'll go buy records. And he'll buy records, like he'll let me go through and pick, and then he'll pay for them. So it's like he got me off to record shopping from a young age, from like probably 6, 7.
Yeah,
He used
yeah.
to carry around to them joints. Like
Same with me, man. You know what I mean? That my fascination was playing music at parties for my family.
Yeah.
So, that being said, was your dad a sound man or was he just a collector with a wicked system? Because I know a lot of my uncles and stuff, they just had really great systems back in those days. But did he have a sound?
My pops didn't have a sound, but he had a collect. He has a vast collection.
Mm.
But the ironic thing is, I don't know my I have family out there in the UK that does have a sound system. According to what he told me, like I got family out there with a big sound. I yet to get the name from him, but
Okay.
he used to know a lot of big sound men back then also, but he never used to have a sound himself.
Right,
So
right. Well, I know back then the sounds were wicked. Like if you had a nice Pioneer amplifier and you had the speakers, or even the Sherwin Vega stuff, amazing sound quality, and you could have nice house parties with that stuff.
My pops had see when it came on, and now my pops was on point with that. He was the first person I seen with the on. Let me see if I'm saying
Onkyo, I think.
yes,
Yeah.
He was the first person I seen with that. He's the first person you see. Like, well, sometimes I put them pulls up with everybody had like the whole setup with the whole cassette deck and all that.
Yeah.
Have like the new stuff that came out with that, and then get some good speakers that run with that. And yeah,
so 6 or 7 years old, you were fascinated with that. Was music one of those things? Was that your main thing when you were a kid, or were you interested in other things? Yeah, music. Okay. That leads me to the next thing. You growing up in Brownsville, was there a lot of Jamaican people in Brownsville, or were you guys unique in that way?
No, there was a lot of people, and there was a lot of Jamaicans in Brownsville, but we all was spread apart. And then the block I grew up on was pretty much like a melting pot block that's bridged between Pickens and Sutter. And it used to be, it's all type of people on that one block.
I know there's a lot of Caribbean people, right, in New York City, right? Yeah. So all through the islands and so on.
Yeah, but on that block, like Puerto Rican, Dominican, Haitian, it's all, and we all forced to see each other. So it was just still a good mix. Everybody got along with everybody, and everybody kids came up with everybody kids. So it's that environment on that block in particular. And it was sort of, I call my old block the eye of Brownsville, because on that block is the public school. Across the street, down the block is the junior high school, and across the next street is the high school, and all the projects were like 2 blocks away from each other. So it's like, everybody has to come through that block at one point in time. The post office is on the block, the hood Mickey D's is on the other corner of the block, so you gotta hit my block somehow, some way. So that's sort of like an epicenter of Brownsville, so to speak.
So 70s, early 80s, I mean, New York City was a music mecca, and obviously you're around all these people. There's melting pot of music, and you've got, Jamaican music, sound system culture happening in your house. But what other things were influencing you? Obviously, it was the birth of hip hop. I know you're old enough to witness that whole thing, you know what I mean, coming out of the 70s and stuff like that. Were there like outdoor parties and sound system parties in your neighborhood in Brownsville?
Very much so. Like I said, like on my old block across the street is the public school. So behind it is the block, is the park. Pardon me, the park that's attached to the school. The janitor in the school used to give the sound man the plug so he could hook up right there in the back to play music over there, whatever have you. And not knowing back then, everybody thought it was just, why you let those guys play music back there, whatever have you. No, he thought about it as, it's these dudes playing music, bringing the community together, bringing people together. Ain't no banging, ain't no nothing like when the sound system is out, there's usually no drama. Okay. Even back then, because I was one of them back kids that used to run off the block and go to Betsy Head Park and see people like Kicking Coffin, DJ Flowers. I'm telling my age right now.
Yes.
This is real early, like this is
before her, right? Is this before her or around the same time?
Nah, somewhere around.
Well, I know Flowers was one of those innovators, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't get the credit.
Yeah, we talking about like 86, 87, because this at the time I'm like 12-ish or whatever have you
Okay.
around that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I'm running off the block to go see these dudes get busy, and this is early, like jams in the
Yeah.
park, dudes getting the power from off of the
Yeah.
street light lamps. Like I'm from
And everything was being played as well, right?
yeah,
Funk,
yeah,
soul, slow
yeah.
jam, calypso, reggae, everything, right?
Yeah,
Melting
I
pot.
didn't. You know, the funniest thing is,
Mm,
back in the days, I never remember when I used to see all those dudes play. It
mm,
wasn't really no that much of Caribbean music being played, but there was a
mm.
lot of like, there's disco, there's the R&B, and there's the hip hop, rap, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what's really circulating at the time. So to get like all that reggae, this at the end of the third, you have to go into the neighborhoods that really, them people that really the Caribbean community, and you get all of that. You know what I mean? So that's where my back and forth bridge was, like between running off the block doing that and then traveling with my pops over there to like the domino parties over there at Ocean and East 21st. Over there, they have a little sound system. The rest
Mm.
of the little kids will go running, playing, doing whatever they doing. I'm by the sound system over here with the records and playing tunes. The other dread get tired of playing tunes and
Mm.
said, you want to play music? You can't play music. I said, yeah, I can play music. My pops co-sign it. He go
Yeah,
play dominoes. I'm in
yeah,
there playing for an hour.
mm,
Everybody in there like, yo, who that player? My
yeah.
pops with the proud face. No, man, I feel that tonight.
So,
Six.
so that's how you got your yeah, you're learning, learning how to select
Yeah.
music and so on.
Mhm.
You're playing for the Domino crew. When did you decide when did the bug really get you and you decided, you know what, I want to take this further and become a DJ? Was this in your teens as well?
Mhm.
And if so, like what were you playing? Like was it were you playing reggae and hip hop at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Which
Yeah.
one was the most impactful to you? I know that's a really tough, loaded thing to answer, but what would you say, I guess, was your foundation and then you grew out of that?
Okay. Um, Reggae is my foundation. Reggae and dub is my foundation. I didn't really grow out of that. It's grown with me and evolved
Yeah.
for what I do now. But at the same time, my era of hip hop would be like from Run DMC on up, or like late Sugar Hill stuff on up. So I'm a part of that too. It's a big influence because at that time, at a young age, I noticed like the connection between like with the reggae to hip hop, as in terms of the DJs in reggae, like people like Captain Sinbad and Trinity, and people like Louis Lepke, and like how they verse they rhymes, as how back then how men used to verse their rhymes with hip hop and this, that, the other. I made that connection from way back then. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? People thought I was crazy. I wasn't, because I know what, like, come years forward. Look what we know now. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, it's then I gravitated to like all of that, and then my pops with the soul R&B stuff, and then he was also a fan of like country and like certain rock things, or certain. He was a person that it didn't matter the genre as long as it sounded good.
Yeah.
It sounded good. It made sense. He bought it. Like that's how he runs his thing, and I picked that up from him. Now I got that bug from him. Now I ain't heard that from him. So that's where like my ears go to any and everything now. Like back then, before I knew who Fleetwood Mac was, I love Fleetwood Mac because
Right.
my favorite song is everybody's favorite song.
Right. And the radio was important back then, I mean, pop
Yeah,
radio. You go on a drive, you got pop radio. So you're hearing
right,
what popular culture is pushing and
right,
yes. So
right.
when did you start playing out where you say, you know what, I'm gonna start playing out and you start getting one into the, parties and stuff like that. And what kind of parties were they?
Oh gosh. All right. I started playing out officially, I would say, um, minus the young domino party stage, because you might as well say that was professional too, as Pop was paying me a records. Um,
Yeah.
But me on my own 1-2, it had to be like 80, 87, 88. It had to be around that time because I remember it was shortly before I got my first part-time job working at the record shop on Pickens Avenue at Soul Shack Records on Pickens between Rockaway and Chester. I didn't really have a big professional set. My original first set, I had a Technics SLBO 101. I had a B1, and then I had a Pioneer turntable that did not have no pitch control.
I feel that. I had one of those.
So then that strengthened me as a DJ to pick everything that was close to the BPM of what it was and have the power of the thumb to hold that side joint to steady it and rock it in the best of my ability. Or make that the lead. And I had one of those Gemini, the old Gemini mixer, the 3-channel joints with the wooden panel. I think it's the 3200, the Jazzy Jeff joint there.
Yeah.
Right. I had one of them.
So when you worked in the shop, was it an opportunity to meet a lot of different sound men? And I mean, once you were old enough to start going to some dances and stuff like that, actually, that's a good question. What are some of the early dances that you can remember that had a really big impact on you?
Oh, early dances. Okay. One of the early dances that had a real impact on me that I went to, where honestly was is with my brethren, them actually, Terratone. Terratone originally consisted of General Lee of Lone Star, my man from, he's gonna kill me for forgetting his name. And he's a part of a big sound system too. Jeez Louise, egg and cheese. Terratone used to be Omega. God bless the dead. Soupy Don was a part of the team. Him and his brother separately used to be TNT by itself, but the extended family was me and my brethren, my brethren Thaddeus, aka Alpha Omega. I'm trying to remember my brethren name. I haven't seen him in a while.
It's okay. You know what? Shout out the sound and we'll keep it moving.
He's down with Africa. I'll put it to you that way.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
so what was the dance? Was it at Biltmore? No. Did you go to those Biltmore dances back in the day?
I went to one, but most of the dances I went to is like between Starlight and Rainbow Terrace.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Starlight, Rainbow Terrace, Walterios. All these spots are in vicinity, like not too far from Biltmore, but yeah.
So what period would you say this is? Was this when obviously the digital dance hall was in and this was artists on the sound, so it would be like special guest artists. And how did that impact you witnessing some of those early dances in the late 80s there?
Oh, that impacted me a lot, man. That was magnificent, like to see it, like not only to have it on cassette, but know that you was there to witness it. At a young age, and it's on, you have it as a memento, like, yo, I was there at that dance and witness song it killer, like, yeah. And a lot of the dances I've been to was mostly juggler dances where it's like my brothers them, but they have like big sounds that come through and do their thing. Like now is an honor. Now is an honor when I go to an LP dance and know that somebody that watched me come up, which is Killer D. And I respect Puma watch me come up. So it's like I go they dance, it's like seeing family do their thing, you know what I mean?
No mercy, Marcus Visionary is one on.
All right, you know what? We talked about your reggae and dancehall history, some of the hip hop and some of your origins, but how does someone from Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York City hear jungle music, get addicted to it, and then start making such incredible music? Tell us all about that.
All right, here's my story of that. At the time, the year is 93, 94. I'm working at Soul Shack Records on Picken Avenue between Rockaway and Picken, and on Picken between Rockaway and Chester. And at the time we had to order records from Top Line, which is at the time one of the big record distributors, them, Landmark. And one day in '94, they sent over these promos, and it was like, and I remember it clear as day. I think it was Larry from Top Line, and he's like, "Yo, we sent over a couple of promos and some stuff from the UK, see what you guys could do with it, whatever." Now, mind you, it's at the time where, Biggie bussin', Wu-Tang bussin', Craig Mack bussin'. This is where this whole evolution is bussin' right here. You know what I mean?
Fire right now.
Now the promos that they send, it's a various artists 12-inch via Axiom with this Groove Rider remix. Come to me and take my hand. The title is losing me. You know which record I'm talking about.
Yeah.
On that same joint is a remix with 16 Arm Jack. So I'm like, okay, all right, this is dope. What is this? They don't tell us this is jungle, right? The next promo though is Jungle Dub 3, Hard Leaders 7.
Okay.
I put this record on the turntable in the store, and the first thing that comes on is Dillinger, Follow Me. And at that moment, me and the manager in the store, we at this sidebar. At this time, we're doing our little rappity rap thing. I was rapping with him and, making the little beats or whatever at the time. To hear this at that time where I'm at a point where I already done learned the basics of my MPC 2000 XL, I'm looking for something different to do outside of what I'm hearing at that time. And that came.
Yeah.
That record changed my life.
Wow. A Dillinger record. So big up Dillinger. He's a GOAT and he's such an original. And his early jungle stuff. So that would have been you. So you think that was around 94, right?
Yeah, that is 94.
Okay.
Because that album dropped in 94. When they gave us that promo, it was just brand new. Because that dropped in 94.
Okay.
We played that whole side of the record. I think it was that. Lemon D, Back to Chicago, and Tech Nine, London something, the remix.
Okay. Yeah.
Those 3 records, I'll never forget it. We let the whole side of the record play while other people was coming into the store buying other stuff. Some people was like, yo, all right, that's a different, the hell is that though? We can't play that. The fuck is that? What's that? So
they used to say we like devil music. They used to say we like devil music back here, Yeah.
It was crazy. Like by the time we got to the last record, people had screw faces outside, but it was the screw faces of approval. They was like, put back on that Biggie shit. What you doing? What is that?
Yeah,
I said, give me that and the other promo. Let me get that like ASAP.
Okay.
Like, that goes with me home tonight now.
All right.
Study that album, that whole double set. And I was like, where can I get more of this?
Okay.
And at that time, there was nothing like it at that time. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there was labels like Raucous that was existing that was doing drum and bass and I never knew.
Right.
I didn't get to knowing this till later years when they acquired Black Star and all these guys, because before they acquired them, they had another set of rap dudes by the name of the Rose Family and Universal 7, aka Population Click, and I was down with Universal 7. Right. This is how we get to learning about, these guys is doing drum and bass ahead of time. Now I'm trying to learn about like what they had in their catalog and their stuff and whatever happened, because this is like years from 94 to then where I'm just now hearing the sound again. Because remember, back then there was no Facebook, there was really no internet popping at that time. This pre-MySpace.
So you were hearing about it from this distributor, and how did you end up chasing up more of this music and finding out more about jungle?
Jeez Louise, this is years after now.
Okay.
I finally land in B Street Records downtown Brooklyn, start working over there, and I run into the good homie DJ Whiteout, aka JP Steinberg, and I'm they got me running the reggae room, right? And he's in the main room right across from me. And he played a jungle record. I think he played either Dillinger Sky or Motherfucker, or one of them two, or something like that. I heard that. I'm playing something in the room and I heard that. I stopped. I was serving a customer. I never forget. I was serving a customer. I said, yo, hold on a second. And I was like, I said, what is that?
Right.
You got more of that? He's like, yo, I got a library of this shit. Me and him became best friends instantly. Brought me to the crib and he showed me, he taught me everything, Conqueror, everything, No U-Turn, and
so who's this that showed you the ropes? What's his name?
DJ Whiteout. Well, known as DJ Whiteout or Spin Mastermind, but that's my homie JP Steinberg. He's an important part to my jungle journey because from him, I end up meeting my homie Sequence. Now Sequence is an important part of my journey. Reason being is because at the time where I'm getting up with JP at this time, this had to have been like late 98, 99, 2000, when I'm working over at B Street or whatever, and I get up with him and he's showing me the little ropes with the jungle records and everything and stuff like that. Now my brain is tweaking, like, how do I make this? Because again, like at this time, there's no YouTube really popping at this time. No. You understand? So now it's like, you got to just go off of your own understanding. 9/11 happens. The day of 9/11 is very important because I was living in Bushwick Projects at the time. I was still working at B Street. The way that my building is faced, I was on the 10th floor and looking out towards the towers. I'm smoking a L to the face, a blunt to the face, and seeing one of the fucking buildings go down from my window. I looked at the blunt and I said, smoking. I go bathroom, come back. Other building is missing. What the f is going on? Nah, B, we putting this out. I'm running late for work. I go downstairs. The whole entire outside is thicker than Labor Day times 1,000. Everybody's walking over from the Williamsburg Bridge because where Bushwick Projects is a block away from Broadway. So that's the route of, the Williamsburg Bridge, the J train. So everybody's walking back down that way because of what just happened. Wow. So I wasn't tripping. I walked to work.
You went to work still. I
still went to work.
Work ethic, man. I'm telling you.
It wasn't even work ethic. Something in my gut said, son, go to work. It's very important you go to work today. Yeah. I went to work. Work, of course, cut short because of all that happened. And now we getting to know that, oh, shit, the buildings fell. Yeah. Oh, I go back to JP's crib with JP. At this time, Sequence is on the other side of the Holland Tunnel watching the buildings go down and having to wait mad hours before he could cross from the Holland Tunnel to come over into Brooklyn. He's moving into Brooklyn at that very same day when this shit is happening.
Crazy.
So he finally gets across after waiting mad hours. He gets across, comes in. He has a next set of library of records. We help him bring it in, and this, that, the other. This is the first time you meeting this dude. There's an unwritten code with DJs when you first meet them. You don't go through just somebody else's, selection unless they allow you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But in 5 seconds of me kicking it with him, I just went and started digging through his shit. And he just stood there and looked at me like, this dude. And he just loud because it's energy detects energy. And that was it right there. He learned me everything else in Paradox, everything Moving Shadow, everything, those categories there, everything liquid, everything good looking, everything, because he has catalogs of everything going down the line in order. So
all the big labels.
Right. Yeah. So now I'm listening to everything. Now I'm getting that side of the education of drum and bass via him now. Okay. Now moving up forward a couple of years now, I'm getting into learning, Logic 8, Logic 9 via my homie KO Overton. But then Sequence is learning that at the same time, trying to learn how to do jungle in there properly. Now he's watching, the how-tos and following whatever, and passing the knowledge over to me, just getting all the complicated stuff out the way and simplifying it and shooting it to me. I get it and I simplify it more and find more cheat sheets to it and start busting down stuff.
Okay.
Just finding my sound, trying to hone my sound,
Your take on it.
Yeah, but he helped me a lot, just really understand the basics of producing jungle at that time.
Right. Okay. You know what? I am going to fast forward a little bit because I know a lot of people who follow you and know that you're really like leading this kind of funk movement. And I know you mentioned Paradox there. We all know what that man does with a breakbeat. And but who were some of the people that you heard at first with that drum funk sound that you said, you know what? I'm vibing with this drum and bass and that jungle, but this sound here resonates with me in a way that I'm going to go in and put my spin on it. Was there a person?
Okay. There's not like one single person, but to go in order would be, at first it was like the early Ronnie South stuff.
Right.
Because I ran into a copy of, like, after getting Jungled Up 3, my next thing of getting anything jungle was that Planet V double CD.
Okay.
So like early Ronnie size,
so like new
Ray
forms
Keith,
and everything like that. Yeah.
Right, like early Ray Keith and Lemon D. I was loving the early Lemon D and Dillinger stuff. I was hyped because I ran into more of it. Even though it was on the CD, I was hyped to get more of it from what I had on that album. So it's like, all right, that's my next piece right there. Like, oh, I need more of this.
Yeah.
But then after that, when I ran into JP, is like learning more of Dillinger. But once I heard Paradox, I mean, it's like split, like stick broken out of my head after that, because now it's somebody going outside of just using Amen or using Lynn Collins or using Bobby Bird all the damn time. You understand? Like somebody using something else than the Sesame Street break all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he mashing on these. I'm about to go dumb. And then it's like when I hear him now, I no disrespect him, of course. Now I hear him, it's like, yo, I got that break, but I can do this.
Right.
I got that break, but I can do this. And put this with this and match this. Yeah. That's where now is going forward. Now, what you said, like we was talking a little bit earlier, like people who hear the style of drum funk they want to copy. Yeah, go ahead. I want this thing to build and spread. If I give you inspiration, by all means, I don't take it as biting. I take it as inspiration. Because knowledge is infinite. Right.
So, how would you describe the drum funk sound to people who don't know? Because you know what, we'll start there.
Okay, so the drum funk sound. First, you have to explain what like the whole difference between, the basics of jungle and drum and bass. Whereas, jungle has a lot of like break heavy stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you get like different breaks and
160, 165.
Yeah, and then drum and bass. Where I see it, drum and bass is more like the rollers and the two steps and boom, bap, boom, bap, boom, bap, boom, bap, or boom, bap, boom, bap, boom, bap. The basic stuff with that, but where like just different, where it gets to the subgenres is like what they build around those patterns. You understand? So now when you get to something like drum funk is sort of, it's sort of on the jungle side, whereas, all right, you have the breaks, but it's not in a set pattern. Or it's not a set break, or it's like jungle meets Max Roach sometimes.
You know, I was gonna say, you guys, your music. I was telling you, it's like Coltrane levels. It's like I listen to your music and just the way you manipulate the drums and the patterns. And to be honest with you, I don't even know like I'm like, I don't even know what this man is doing in here with it, where he's sourcing his breaks or anything like. But that's the joy of it for me because, I love hearing things that are new to me. You know what I mean? And then also too watching your evolution, because what people don't know, this guy, when I say this guy's prolific, every other day, like since I've gotten to know him, he'll just send me something, and I have a folder. I don't have any other artist folder on my desktop. There's a Krugah master folder, right? Because we just started sending me so much stuff, and I was just like, yo, I want to put this stuff aside. So what I would do is, because things are busy, things are crazy right now.
Right.
So sometimes I can't even get to it. I'll get to it, I'll download it, put it in the folder, and then me and Brad will have a meeting, and I'll have a Krugah listening session. Like, so now that's the new thing. Like, I'm not hearing it because I don't like listening to stuff on my phone, man. You know what I mean? So I'll get in the studio and I'll just sit there and I'll zone out and I'll listen to all your stuff. Now I have to big up Frankie Guns in a big, 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 big way, because that's how I got to hear about you. And I know you're working with Guns Road Music. And for those that don't know, Frankie Guns is a legendary key figure in the development of Toronto drum and bass music. He was working at Play the Record for many, many years. We worked there together. He was instrumental in the back, known Eugene always saying, Ryan, he was like, he did ordering. He kind of like did everything at the shop. And this man takes his music really, really seriously. And I remember when he started hitting us up and saying, yo, there's this guy named Krugah, and he's the truth. Like, he's the real deal. And I'd be like, oh, yeah? Yeah. And, I'd be like, really? And he'd be like, no, listen, I'm deadly serious right now. He's the truth. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay. And he starts sending me stuff, right? And then, obviously, he's like, yeah, I'm going to sign an album from this guy. And he was the whole reason why I started Guns Road Music and even got into doing a label. And now he says it's the most important part of his life is this label, and he attributes a lot of it to you. So
all right, hold on.
How did you meet Guns?
All right, that's what I'm about to get running back to the Sequence part now, right? Yeah. Now, me and Sequence, we've been homies since 9/11. Boom. Now, fast forward to now where he's been on Jungle Train for like a good 10 years. I become a fan of this dude, Greenleaf, for like about a good 7 years from all just listening to his tunes and everything. So
where's Greenleaf from, by the way?
Greenleaf is from New Orleans.
Okay.
Sequence is originally from New Orleans.
Big up the NOLA crew.
That's the missing connection right there. Boom. So now, how did this happen? I think,
and how recent was it, actually?
This had to be 2017. Yes, because I just finished making Funky Drummer's Revenge. So boom, I have Funky Drummer's Revenge. I think I gave it to Sequence to play on the show one time. Greenleaf asked him about it or whatever have you. Sequence had me send some joints to Greenleaf, and I didn't put it together that they know each other.
Right.
So it bugged me out, like, yo, I didn't know you know him, this is whatever. So he put me in the link with Greenleaf, and boom, I start sending Greenleaf some joints. So Greenleaf starts playing my joints on his show. Sequence couldn't play all my joints on the show because he wasn't fully integrated to Serato. He was mostly vinyl. All my stuff was like digital. So boom, he get to Serato late, but he played one or two when he could. So the one or two was just grabs Greenleaf. See, he got it to Greenleaf. Greenleaf starts playing the stuff. Rumbleton starts asking him, yo, who's that?
See, I am well late on the train now, because I was bigging you up, and it was Threshold came in, and he's like, fam, done no long time. Like, he was just kind of like, you're so late on the train, and I am late, but I'm late to the whole drum funk thing as well,
Right. Now, hold on. Now, Greenleaf gets me to Rumbleton. Now, I've been a fan of Rumbleton from time. So now I'm sort of side fanboying out, send Rumbleton tunes and everything. Rumbleton gets me to Frankie. And then from Frankie, I get to everybody.
And it's that whole community. That's that whole community building as well, right? Because it's so funny when we talk about jungle. Jungle is this like, it's like, you know, a lot of people think jungle is a subgenre of drum and bass only because drum and bass is this big Goliath and it's this big beast. And, you know, when we make a subgenre like jungle, I said to you earlier, I said it feels like we're swimming upstream, you know, and against the current, and every few feet there's an undertow. It's like, it's a very small community, very niche, and that's jungle. Now, some people would say the drum funk is a subgenre of jungle, and but how big is the drum funk community? Would you say is it growing?
That shit is enormous. Don't let nobody fool you. Like, as a matter of fact, those who listen to jungle is a part of the jungle, is a part of the drum funk family as well as those who's in the drum and bass as well. Because, like I said, like every artist is different. So, like with drum funk, to put it into for lack of better terms, I would say it's like the old dirty bastard of the genre. Reason being because it can flow between both sides of it, per my descriptive of the two-step, and this because drum funk can come into a form of a semi roller, semi two-step, where things switch up here and there. Break It shows you that a couple of times. For example, his joint headshots for lick shots and head tops, right? It could be considered as a two-step roll up, and you see how he does a little switch ups. That's still part of drum funk.
Even Rastafari was shying him like that tune there. It's just like, you know, so it's nice, and that's the way that I play drum funk. Like I spice it in, you know what I mean? Like for sure.
Some people do it with more drums. Some people do it with less. You know what I mean? You see how Paradox give you a steady pattern and just give you subtle switch ups here and there, but it's just put the strength and the EQ up how the drum hits as it connects with the drum and the elements thereof. You know what I mean? So that's what makes this thing unique.
All right.
Same as people. Listen, same as people like Opius, same as people like Nick TVG and John. Same as people like Mac and people like Theory and, you know, of course, Coach Forrester. He is a big influence on me on top of that. I gotta big him up because when I made Deception for Frankie, I think I gave it to Frankie and I just got to meeting Threshold to start sending them tunes or whatever via Frankie. I send him that tune. I never forget it. The next morning, it was my day off. Usually my alarm goes off and I just shut it off and I go back to sleep. All of a sudden, I hear the ringer go off again. I'm like, the fuck is this? It's Threshold calling me early in the morning and a 5-hour conversation like, bruv, I must know who you are. I'm like, what possessed you to do this? Chill, bruv.
Nice. Yeah, man. Big up Threshold, man. You know what? You know, I got one of the similar call and it was like 3 hours later, you know what I mean? So, you know, mentoring people is really important in this business, man. So you linked with Frankie Guns, and tell me how that first interaction went down.
Oh, man, he was genuine. He was the same as he is now. He's just been genuine, humble. He's like, yo, I'm thinking of starting a label, whatever. And he just came to me humble, like, yo, I love tunes or whatever. And I just started sending him a slew of joints because I figured, like, you connected to Rumbleton, so you good beans with me. Rumbleton good people. Like, at that time, I'm just getting to know Rumbleton at that time, too. So, like, off the back, it's like, I could just detect good energy. Like, you cool with him, you cool with Greenlee. Greenlee is cool with Sequence. Sequence is my brother. Y'all all good. Like, all the connection is there. I have no apprehension. Let me send you these joints.
So obviously this big kind of like, I don't want to call it a jungle resurgence because every year there's a jungle resurgence, right? But there's definitely some energy right now because you know,
it's an evolution. That's not really. It's not even. That's see. They word it wrong. It's not a. It's not a resurgence. It's just an evolution because there's always new players in the game. There's always people that we probably haven't heard of that's just now breaking the surface and just getting into the joint. You know what I mean? Getting into the genre. I have a couple of tunes where certain man that probably was playing it on in the back end now is probably reached into a mean man hand like Bailey or like. You know, that's now getting some burn, you know? So
well, you know what? It's kind of like what we were talking about, the original elements. There's definitely a move. And I think for me personally, right at the beginning of the pandemic, when we were at home and we were really locked down, we were locked down for 2 years. And it was serious here in Toronto. So everybody just started digging into their record crates again.
Right.
And I started reconnecting with a lot of people. Obviously, Mark Ranger, he relaunched Kemet, and Third Party. Reinforced really stepped up again with Stretch and Mark Mack releasing stuff. And then all of a sudden you see Suburban Bass coming back. Everybody coming back into the fray in a big way. You know, all of the original foundation artists. But on top of that, these guys are pushing, just hundreds of new artists. And going back to the original elements of jungle, break beats, you know, you got the techno sounds in there, you got the hip hop, you got the rare groove, you got the dub, and then also too, there's this drum funk movement, which you're a big part of. Obviously, you have an album coming out with Frankie Guns. Is there a title for this album? And if you can't give it away, it's okay. I understand.
No, I'm actually trying to decide on it still. I ain't trying to make it too complicated though, but
Brownsville's finest. There we go. No, you can't.
I really want to call it body of work, volume 1 because all these tunes that I gave Frankie is like really like my beginning of all right. I'm just now getting my grasp in doing jungle tunes in Ableton, because when I did my first set of joints, it was in Logic. And when I got to Ableton after linking up with Greenleaf, it's like all systems go. The reason I turn over so fast in these records because Ableton Live just allows me just to rock so fast. It's the 2 step less I have to do in Logic Pro.
Yeah.
Honestly. Nothing against Logic Pro, by the way. Logic Pro is awesome if I'm doing like a reggae rhythm, I'm building from scratch, and I'm doing those type of things in that aspect, especially with like hip hop and stuff. I'll do it in Logic Pro. That's cool.
When did that switch come? That you were from Logic Pro to Ableton? How long ago was that?
That was 2018.
2018. Wow.
So I got to kick it with Greenleaf, and I told him I was messing with it here and there, but didn't really get a full grasp of it. And he kept on pushing me to mess with it, and then finally I said, you know what? Let me just go get Live Light because it was attached to like one of the MIDI controllers, and we can mess with it. You know, they only give you like 8 tracks, but then when I figured out the drum rack, you could use those like the pads like separate tracks and just you know. That's like the cheat sheet right there. That's when I started making stuff via that. And that's how Journey Within pops in. That's where all these things pop in. I start using the drum rack as a cheat sheet and put all the pads right in there and start playing things differently. And so a lot of those records are the joints that's going to be on the album, where I just now like those are like the big body of work before I started going to the pro level and getting sweet and doing all this like,
Well, watching your evolution is amazing, especially your evolution in sound. Like when Frankie hit us up and he said, you know what, Krugah's got a couple of tracks, and you sent us To the Future and Ragamuffin Junglist. Ragamuffin Junglist is out right now on digital with a remix from Just Everybody on Inner City Dance. Actually, Stereo One Music, which is our sister label, right? But let me tell you, man, like, those 2 records are my favorite records on our label. Now, and also too, I wanted to say something because as much as those are within your style, it's almost like a departure from your style. And there's more drum and bass in those records, just like in a fusion way. Was that an intentional thing, or did it just happen on those records? And also, too, I have to say, I have to big you up on this. The sound quality on those records are amazing. Like when I played Ragamuffin Junglist down at Rupture, the unmastered version, it licked down the place. So, talk to me about those two records right now, man, because I want to know.
Okay, it just came together as such. Ragamuffin Junglist, how did it start? It started from the sample that I was using, which is from a live dance. And I was just listening to it, and it just caught me like, all right, I haven't done nothing with these breaks in a while. Let me do something like this right here. And sidebar, that other record, I know I gave it to you on the side. Powerful Beings was originally supposed to be the remix for Ragamuffin Junglist because it still uses that funky drummer theme, but I like, all right, let me just make it a separate record.
You know what? I might have missed that, I might have missed that.
No, that's in your DM. You still got it. It's probably in DM somewhere.
Okay.
And To the Future. To the Future is inspired by me watching Mutabaruka Cutting Edge. That's where you get that beginning part of him just talking about, when I talk to the animals, them. I asked them if
I actually seen that, I saw that, and it was, excellent. Yeah. I was gonna say you could definitely hear. You said at one point you were like listening to Ronnie Size and Crust, and I feel like I can hear that into the future. You know what I mean? But those two records are like what Brad and I were blown away because we were like, yo, these records are so us. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't sign anything unless we really love it, and people send us music all the time. And it's not that we don't like it. It's just like, it's not for us. But those records were just like, wow, these are going in our crate and they're staying in our crate. But on top of it, man, like, honestly, it's just an honor to have those records on our, and, we're going to continue to push them. Brad's been looking into the vinyl actually just recently. This week we had a meeting about it because we've been checking out Another Factory and all sorts of things. Yeah.
Gotta like what, people are still on my back for that record,
Which one?
Pillar of Salt.
Oh, word. Okay. Yeah, man. Beautiful record.
My back still. Isn't it? It's out already. What are you talking about? So we want vinyl, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, there's your spin on Dubwise, man, and like that is great. You know what I mean? It's solid. And Brad really loves Pillar of Salt. He's always talking about Pillar of Salt. You know what I mean? I hear that you're going to the UK, and have you been to the UK?
No.
So this is going to be, is this a little tour, a mini tour, or what are you doing down there? And when are you going?
This is going to be in April for Jungle Syndicate.
Wow, okay.
I hope I ain't letting nothing out the bag, but, Pixel.
A little birdie told me, I don't know.
Pixel and the people, they like, we need a kid over here. Like, okay, I'm with it. Yay.
All right, where's Jungle Syndicate located? Where are they from?
No idea.
Word.
I have to look into the whole thing all over again because
is it London?
Way down the line, yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely London. It's way down the line. Like I said, it's in April, so I'm trying to see other things if it comes. If I get time to be out there. If anything, I know I'm gonna have enough time off from the day job so I could go up there because
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy to go to England. Like, I mean, I just went out there. Ironically, my first gig playing like the 160, 165 jungle stuff was at Rupture. They had heard I was coming out because the thing is, going along with the evolution of this music, every year this thing changes. And from the very beginning, when I got into it, like 91, 92, 93, every year it changes. And I would, as a DJ of this music, I just go along with every year and the changes and following all the artists and getting the promos and so on. And, even up to before the pandemic, 99% of my gigs are drum and bass gigs. You know what I mean? So I'm opening for like, all the big drum and bass acts and the labels and stuff. But jungle's always been where my heart is. So now when I decided to really delve into this during the pandemic, now it's like coming out of this, it's like, I'm not getting an opportunity to play. Cause like certain places like, Rumble in the Jungle, when I played in Bristol, that is, if you talk to those kids there, that sound to them is jungle, but it's a completely different take of like, I always say it's jungle influenced drum and bass. You know, it's really modern. It's really clean. It's less focused on breaks. It's got elements of like.
It's pretty much club. It's pretty much what's that? Club V. What's
A lot of people say it's just modern jungle. Like if you talk to like Brian G or potential
like
bad boy,
run a business and all them type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Not wrong with it. It's good, but it's clean as in opposed to like how we are with breaks and everything.
Yes.
It's like it's more out. It more sounds like it's more out of a box than not to depreciate it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No,
it's more cut clean and stiff and as how our things feels more natural and organic feel to it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, that speaking to that, it's like now there's this whole scene where it's like, you know, you've got Rupture, you've got Distant Planet, you've got Planet Wax, you've got Jungle Syndicate, even Rumble in the Jungle, the crew that I went for, you know, that recently they'll have like Sully and, you know, they're having some guest passers. So this thing is starting to penetrate. And then now you've got the massive success of Nia Archives, right? She's signed to Island Records, and when you see her sets, she's playing like straight up, like very raga jungle, and rave stuff, and it's good for the music. But there is a sub scene starting to happen, and definitely a kind of a room 2, room 3 kind of situation happening. Because you know what? As much as I try, and I do sometimes successfully, I'm able to get into playing this 160, 165 jungle stuff at drum and bass parties. But for the most part, it doesn't happen. Anyways, what is in the pipeline for Krugah, and where would you like to see yourself in the near future, man?
What's in the pipeline? Okay. What's in the pipeline? It's something big is happening. I can't really, let the cat out of the bag too much, but I can give a slight spoiler, whereas I could say that AKO Beats is involved. So large up Stretch.
Big up Stretch.
So yes, I made it to the label.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is dropping soon. I think that's early 23.
Okay.
God willing, it might drop. We'll drop at 23. Even if the print comes through, it'll make more sense because to start off the new quarter. And that's a full light and iration in this version. I have a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Yo, listen, expect a whole slew of remixes coming from Kratos, coming from my homie Gal. I'm doing a remix of the homie Galvatron. I may have something for Colonite and Lord. Yeah. So
I can imagine you got so much music. You must forget about music that you've made. Also, you have your Bandcamp as well, which is like super. What are you up to? I know that you do a series on there. What number are you up to?
Right now, I'm up. Right now, I closed off the series of The Imperfectionist, but I still have 2 more volumes of What You Don't Know to release. So volume 2, I'm planning to actually release it in a couple of days from now on a surprise thing just to beat out, Bandcamp Friday.
What do you think about this new evolution and burgeoning scene of jungle, and why do you think that it's happening in drum and bass on a world level? Because it's going back to those earlier elements. You got the pads, you got the reggae. It's that big melting pot. And also too, it's like where, jungle tracks are very filled. You know what I mean? Like you're never listening to a jungle track and think, oh man, this is boring. You know what I mean? It's filled up. It's not necessarily MC friendly. But yeah, what do you think of this new scene and where it's going and the potential and everything like that? And are you excited about it?
I'm excited. I'm excited about it because I see a lot of people that's been in the scene still pushing it forward. Mm-hmm. And giving it more of a positive push to invite more newer artists like me to come in and give people like who's been out for a while, like people like Greenleaf, more of a platform to, you know, get tunes out and heard, and you know what I mean? Like you get the, like people like Double O and Mantra having Rupture, and like Stretch having like the AKO different events out there, and you know, like what they're doing with Jungle Syndicate and all these things is great. It's magnificent. It's dope to see like more of a younger generation hitch onto it as well, because that helps also. Once they get onto it, they spread the word. Once they spread the word, it gets bigger. You know,
Jungle, hardcore, and rave breakbeat music, it just hits different, man, in a club, you know? Like that, I think one of the things I was so happy about is just even the effect that it's having on drum and bass. Is like now you hear drum and bass records with the 808 back again. Those pads are coming back. It's definitely having an impact on that scene. But as you said, like it's nice to see these specific parties, because it is a different beast. Like a lot of drum and bass people won't play a lot of the sound because I don't understand why you know, it's produced this way, and you know.
Right, now check it from my observation of over here in New York now.
Mm-hmm.
In New York, there are drum and bass. There is a drum and bass in the jungle scene, but it's not easy to find.
Yeah.
That I could say. It's not easy to find like they used to be back in the days. At least Matt Cat Concrete Jungle in Lower Manhattan. Where you knew that every Monday, you know, if you pass through there, you're liable to see like a wide array of DJs there that'll pass through and everything. And you don't even pay much, but if you did the knowledge, it's like, you know, for him to get the spot, it's pretty much breaking even by the time night over, and he don't hardly leave with anything. He's doing this for the love to make sure that, you know, the world knows there's jungle out here in New York, you know, like, so that was around now. Like, you know, if you can't find that, it's like if you find little things here and there, like it's not as much as like how you would see in the UK, or how you probably would see in Canada, or how you probably would see in the West Coast. Over there in Cali, their jungle scene is popping, to my understanding. So, you know, it's hard for me to find it. And I'm like a lone soldier out here at Brownsville, because ain't nobody out here listening to no jungle.
Well, that's the thing. I know that there's drum and bass out there, because you got a couple of the crews out there. I'm coming out there actually in January for Matos and Lovelace. Okay. And, you know, Track was telling me about, you know, they're mainly like, you know, forward thinking drum and bass, you know, jungle influenced drum and bass. But in terms of jungle, the stuff that you're doing, is there anybody doing that out there with you, or are you just, you know, all by yourself?
No, well, the style of what I'm doing is people like there's tons of people doing it. It's like like I said, there's Opius, there's Opius, there's Greenleaf.
No, I was saying like in New York.
Oh, in New York.
Yeah.
That's my knowledge.
Wow. Okay. That's important for people to know, you know, for sure. Yeah, man. So now that there's this, so you're really attached to this kind of like worldwide thing that's happening, because all your people are from elsewhere, right? And we've been now, like when Brad and I get together, we're always like, let's call Krugah. You know, it's just to connect and kind of vibe, and you know, so it does feel good, because you do need a sense of community. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I sometimes feel like, you know, it's like, oh man, like especially because I play drum and bass, I'm like, some days I'm like, wow, I'm putting so much effort into this jungle stuff, and I'm like, you know, I'm like, is this smart? You know what I mean? Is this like something? But it's where my heart is, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I figured if I follow my heart and follow the music that I love and keep pushing, you know what I mean? And also too, we're gonna start doing events out here more often. I cooled off from that because we were throwing events. It's my 30-year anniversary of Lost in the Jungle, which is like the first event that we threw. So we've been doing it for 30 years and nonstop. You know, it's been my full-time job. But people think it's not easy to do this. You know what I mean? By any means. And especially now, in a drum and bass world, you know what I mean? To be pushing something a little bit different, it's tough. It's a tough battle.
People on the outside don't understand the work a promoter has to do to putting on these things. People might go to Rupture and see Double O with screw face the whole night. It's not screw face at you.
Yeah.
It's a screw face of being a pessimist, just expecting what the least can go wrong, but not putting it out there in the universe. He wants the night to go well, but he's, he got to keep a safe eye on everything will go on at the same time, trying to look like he's having fun, but he's watching over everything to make sure the night goes on well.
Yeah. Yeah, he was
So
definitely in work mode for sure.
Yeah. So people got to understand there's a lot of components that come with it and a lot of responsibilities that come with it. Like you're paying for said place, you pay insurance for a said place. You got to make sure you make this bread to pay Peter, pay Jenna, and everybody. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you were saying earlier, there's a lot of younger people coming into this. Any advice for the younger generation coming into this? Just real advice coming from you and your experience in this music business.
Okay, for those, and this is just in general, just getting into the music business. Do your homework. Work with the resources that you have till you get more. You know what I mean? Do not fake it till you make it, because regardless of the fact, it'll see through people. Will see it's not genuine. It'll fuck up your genuine chance of getting put on.
Yeah.
Now, for those getting into jungle drum and bass, my advice to you is whatever DAW that you're working on, or whatever hardware you're working on, YouTube is your best friend. Go do your homework on that. Learn like the different techniques of how to do your joint properly, and at the same time, do your homework on the classic eras that me and Marcus are talking about, like 94, 93, and all these things. You know what I mean? Learn about like how the whole evolution of that rolls into 96 and like how that influences everything going forward. You might get a whole new style out of that for yourself and present something new for the next generation.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake people make,
because sometimes it's not about imitation. Sometimes it's just taking the energy from said joints and making your own new thing to bring about a new change in the sound.
Yeah, for sure. I would say, I think the biggest mistake a lot of younger artists could make right now is really not listening to other types of music. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like, being a sponge for like whether it's jazz or soul or broken beat or Afro beat or whatever, that's only going to enrich your music, right? If you're just making drum and bass from listening to drum and bass and jungle from listening to jungle, it could make your music stiff. Like I think jungle is a melting pot music, so you'd really need, you need the inspiration from other things, and that's why I say sometimes I listen to your stuff and it's like Coltrane meets King Tubby in an alley. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, you need to know these people. You need to know, it will definitely have a positive impact on your music. I know my influences, like, I try not to listen to other people's jungle, especially if I'm going into the studio, you know what I mean? And so you're there with your influences, and it finds its way into the music through you, right?
Right.
I noticed you've been doing some remixes. You did the Big Fun in the Inner City Life, which we've been caning. And you told me tonight you just did another big house track. What was that one that you just did recently? I see you smiling. I'm not supposed to give it up on the dubs, right?
You know what? They're gonna end up hearing it anyway, since Thursday is right around the corner.
Okay.
I just did Club Lonely, Lil Lewis in the World.
Yes, I can't wait to hear it.
And I did a lick over of New Civilization's Wake Up.
Oh my goodness.
You gotta wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So were you into the house thing back in the day as well?
Hell's yeah. Hell's yeah. So that's a big influence, man.
You went through the evolution of dance music, basically. You soaked it all in. Because you also play, you're a multi-genre DJ. This was one of the questions that I didn't get to ask you. Yeah. I noticed that I don't get to check all your shows. I'm not on Twitch all the time. Like, I'm like you, man. I get a free moment and I'm in the studio. So it's like, but I do see your ads and I see your advertising. You're like, tonight I'm going in on some dance hall and Afro beat. And I'm like, damn, or I knew you still play like hip hop and stuff. You across the board, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man.
All the way across the board. I play. Yo, if it's, I'll take it after my father. If it sounds good and it got a good running for it, and I could place it in the mix, this is how I respect people like Jazzy Jeff, because he does the same thing. He does like his little thing on Twitch, and whereas he's playing multi-genres straight through, but he makes it fit in the mix where it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I heard him play jungle and all that on the set, where it made it flow from hip hop to jungle to reggae to like a garage, and I'm like, oh shit, it makes sense. Wow. Like I'm one of those people that I could, if you give me the opportunity to do so, I'll do so. But I play, multi-genre. Like if I get booked for a regular dance, I could do a regular dance thing. I could do regular, top 40 thing, even though I don't prefer to do it, but I can do it.
Yeah. It's also good to know sometimes. Like, I don't really check for a lot of top 40. I find out about it on YouTube. Like, you see when Jay-Z and Beyonce do a drop, or you know what I mean, that type of mainstream stuff. But you know what, it's good because back in the day, like, I used to soak up everything from pop radio,
right?
You know what I mean? But things have changed now. It's all internet, so you got to go and seek it out, right?
Yeah, and then it just depends on who you seek out or whatever have you. Like right now, I didn't even listen to King's Disease 3, but I
haven't seen it yet. I haven't heard it yet as well.
I'm gonna take it in. Everybody giving me great reviews on it. Reviews on it. So I'm like, all right, keep going. I'm 4 for 4 right now.
I'm hearing it's some of his best work for sure. Anyways, you know what? I won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much for this interview. And you know what? We're gonna do it again, man. I wanna stay up on your journey, and I wish you the best. And we're pushing for you, man. And you know what? We're gonna have your Twitch in the comments. We're gonna have your Bandcamp in the comments. What's your Twitch address? Do you know?
My Twitch address is, Twitch TV, DJ Krugah 146.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna have to put that down there. And your Bandcamp is what?
Soul and Pain Music.
Okay.
Soul and Pain Music Productions, bandcamp.com, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get those from you, man. And you guys got to check out Krugah, man. Anything else you want to say?
Big up all Drumcraft, Juncture, all the labels that's been holding me down, you know what I mean, in the city. Stereo One, Sweet Sensi, Large Up Clear, Large Up Frankie Guns, of course. Large Up Opius, by the way. He got a good collection of my music on Ballpark Recordings as well.
Yeah.
Large Up All my report. I know it's gonna be too long and Zoom ain't cut us off. So yeah.
Well, it's time to upgrade to Pro, man. It's time to upgrade. Well, thanks so much, man. And you know what? Hopefully I can see you when I come up to New York in January.
Hope so also,
yeah,
man. I'll be here.
All right, man. Thank you.
No doubt. Peace.
Bless.